Kwanza, a celebration. Kwanza, a celebration. The community, family, and friends sharing together, giving thanks to the Creator for giving us the strength to continue the struggle for liberation. Kwanza is here, cleansing our bodies, drinking cool, sweet waters from the earth, enjoying each other's spirit, lighting the 7 candles of love. Wake up, everybody. Wake up. Kwanza is here. Kwanza is beauty, art, culture, song, and dance. Hearing the drum beats from Detroit to Zimbabwe.
Yes, sir.
Hear them? Yes, sir. Hearing the drum beats from LA to Soweto. Going to festivities all over town, embracing in the joy and love of your people. Yes. Wake up, everybody. Kwanza is here. Yes. Rejoice, for Kwanza, 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 a celebration. Rejoice, for Kwanza, yes, Kwanza is here. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the keyboards. Hey. Right. Kwanza celebration. Keyboard. You know, we've been doing, you know, our elders, they're very important because they have all the wisdom, they have all the knowledge, and we have to respect the elders. And it's so good to have our elders a part of this Kwanza celebration here this evening, as well as the Watotos, our children, and of course, our elders has wisdom. And at this time, I'd like to call up some members of the City of Detroit Council of Elders to talk about how they feel about unity and what we should be doing in terms of keeping umoja in our hearts and our soul, in terms of what we need to be about in terms of liberation. And Brother Saki, I'd like to have you come up to say a few words. Brother Saki. And also, Sister Oshundara, Chief, will you come up and give your vision on Queen Mother Oshundara, beautiful sister, I'd like to have you come up and share a few words about unity and any other elders that we may have. But we can start off by mainly getting into a discussion. Brother Saki, it's so good to see you. Happy Kwanzaa, 30 years involved of umoja and unity. It's so good to have your wisdom part of the City of Detroit Council of Elders. So, Brother Saki. Queen Mother will speak first. On umoja.
Umoja, my sisters and my brothers.
Umoja.
Usually, I'm either in Africa on this day or during this period, or I'm in California. It's really interesting. I was telling Brother Zaire, when we were coming down here today, last year, Christmas, I was in the Kwanzaa parade in Los Angeles. And the year before that, I was in a Kwanzaa parade in Los Angeles. And it was a hit and a miss. I was coming to Los Angeles and he was coming to Detroit. So we did an exchange of our culture. Culture and unity is so important. I can recall when I was younger, we didn't have the celebrations that we're having today. It was very difficult to be black. Many of our people had not traveled to Africa. There were some of us that would get very annoyed if you called them black. It was a fight if you would call somebody black. There were times when you could go to the lavatories. You were not allowed to go because one said colored and one said white. And to come out and say, well, I am black, in the 1960s and the lateral 70s, it became very popular and very profound in our songs, in our dance, in our languages, to step out into your blackness and your culture and be who you are. I can recall being in Nigeria, talking to the tailor, telling him about the clothing that he was preparing for me, and him looking at me saying, why are you wearing your traditional clothes? Why don't you wear Western? Why don't you wear Western clothes? And I said, I wear my tradition because there was a time when I was in America when we could not wear our traditional clothes. There was a time when it was bad for you to wear your hair in locks because somebody would straighten your hair. Because if you didn't straighten your hair, then you would be considered as an outcast. There were many times when we as an African people were discriminated because we had light-skinned people, we had black-skinned people, we had tribalism among ourselves. The tribalism still exists here. We talk about tribalism over in Africa, but we have it right here in America also. We have tribalism against ourselves because we don't respect ourselves. We have tribalism because we have elders that are in our presence, or we don't teach our children as we should be teaching our children. When we see our children today, and they are doing the beautiful things that they are doing about unity, about umoja, and then when you walk outside, one of the children's parents can be right there before them, and they will look at someone and say, this is sister this or sister that. They don't even say sister. They may even call you by your first name. That's right. And then when you go home, we're training our children now to go to Africa. We're taking our children to Africa, but then when you get over into Africa, you say they don't like me because I come from America, and because they hear, maybe the elders may hear you call another elder by their first name. We're going to have to learn how to embrace ourselves in our culture, and so that when we go across the waters, we can be accepted as who you are. Because in the south of America, we embrace more of our African culture than what we did in the north. But many of our people that have traveled and lived in the north, according to how they were raised, their upbringing, then you can very well know when a child comes from the south because they are very closely connected with their African culture and African heritage. There once was a time when you see somebody dressed a certain way, and you would look at them and laugh and say, well, this person has to be from down south because they're wearing loud colors, or they're dressed or acting a certain way. But if they say yes ma'am and no ma'am, you say, I know that one is from the south. It's not so much about what you wear on the outside, because many of us are running through here right now dressed with African attire on the outside, but we don't have African in the inside. It's so important that we look around and embrace each other and respect each other, because respect comes from within. It's like a beautiful flower. The fragrance starts from within. So we have to teach our children to respect, but there's so many of us that are adults that don't respect ourselves. We look around and talk about our children and how many bad manners the children have, but we as adults also have to teach the children, because the young shall teach the old, as well as the old shall teach the young.
That's right.
So what I'm saying today is that as you groom yourselves and embrace yourselves with the principle of umoja, which is unity, then learn to know and love thyself. If we say that we love God, then God is in you, and God is in each and every one of you. So know thyself from within. Know the God that is within yourself, and learn to respect each other. Teach your children. The children have to teach the adults also. So what I have to say to you today is that I am blessed, I'm honored to be in your presence, because right now I'm supposed to be in Nigeria, going through some chiefess titles back home. But I thought it was more important this time to spend this Kwanza here with the sisters and brothers and teaching about culture and cultural exchange. And if there are any of you that would like to know and learn, because I travel all over, and I learn about the culture back home. I'm in the schools in Ghana, Nigeria, Sierra Leone, in West Africa particularly. I'm learning about the culture back home, but I'm also doing a cultural exchange, because they need to know about us over there the same as we want to learn about them. So I say umoja. Thank you very much.
Let's have a real big hand for our Queen Mother. Baragani. 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 I just want to say a few words in terms of how I see Kwanza. I remember when Dr. Karenga first introduced Kwanza, it was primarily just among nationals. And everybody, when I say everybody, the Negro community and the white community put Kwanza down. And you have to also understand that during the early mid-60s, when you said you was black, and of course I think some members of my family thought that I had absolutely lost my mind. That I had gone to college and became totally ignorant. But I think I've been vindicated over the years that I'm not totally ignorant, and I wasn't ignorant then, I'm not ignorant now. But it was a sacrifice, because once you make the transition and find out who you are and what you want to project, everybody's not going to treat you the same. And you shouldn't expect them to treat you the same. However, you will not be superior to them. It's just that you woke up before they did. And a lot of people, when they make the transition, I ain't got time for those N-word people. But the reality is that he just crossed over yesterday, now he put them down. But let me tell you, that's where most of our people are. And if we're going to win, we got to bring them over, so when we can become the majority. One of the beauties of Kwanza, and one of the best things that I like about it, is that we didn't ask nobody, could we have? He said, this is for us, this is what it's going to be, and we went off with it. And I think that's the same argument right now they got in Oakland, California, with the bombers. You understand what I'm saying? You got black people sitting there saying, we're the Board of Education. They got a black superintendent, and the board said, look, we're going to take our kids where they are, and then show them how to speak English. But we got to find out what they're speaking first.